Well, hello and welcome. The goal today is, down below here to my right, you can see it. There's a nice smooth bike path. And that's the way I always go. Great bike path. But today, actually a little while ago, I took a road that was above that bike path. And I took it from one of my favorite rest stops, big place with, huge park and all that. Show up in a video here somewhere. But I took the road above it. And so I wanted to see, I took the road and I was on the, right-hand side of the road. And the river and the bike path were pretty far on the other side of the road. So I thought, I wonder what it's like to go this way. I took this road a long time ago, and it was full of these berries, and those stupid berries, little tiny sticks with berries on it went everywhere. They went, all in my tires and spokes and all that. And it didn't do any damage. It was just so annoying. And it took just weeks for all those pieces to dry up and fall off, especially the berries. So, kind of annoying. But now, I've never taken it completely straight through. So I wanted to see how it worked. I was hoping there'd be no traffic today. But so far, my plan is failing. There's a lot of traffic. But this is closer to, a major portion of my city. So I think it'll just thin out very quickly here. But who knows? And I remember this route. It's a little weird. It's very technical. You've got to weave in and out, and there's all these little obstacles, these light poles here. It's all very technical. So this portion of it's a little weird. So anyway, I wanted to try it going the other way. you know, I'm always at a quest, I don't know, to find different ways to go. And so lately I made a list of all the different bike paths, and I listed them out, you know, and these are just the ones that I know. So just to make sure, you know, we at least go through one of them at least once. And so that's going to take a month and a half or so. And so, like I said, I have a real interest in exploring. And as I said before, I'm very fortunate that where I live, there's a whole bunch of bike trails. You know, I saw this one person, and he did videos about electric bikes. And, you know, he had like basically one route. You know, he biked all these streets to get to this park. And then, you know, he went around the park, and the park was like, I don't know, a mile or two around. And that's it. You know, and he did it in different clockwise and counterclockwise, but that's it. And he said it was fine. You know, yeah, it's the same route, but the weather's different, the traffic's different, the people are different, time of year is different. And that was enough for him. But when I sat down and started adding them up and realized I have, you know, 12 to 14 distinct different routes, I thought, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. I'm so lucky. You know, and the major trail down below, sometimes I see people completely kitted out. And some people take this trail and they camp along the way. So, and I have this right at my doorstep. So I feel very lucky. You know, being grateful is very, very important. Always being grateful. Grateful what you have. I remember something that, you know, don't complain about what you have, because at one time it's only what you dreamed about having. So what I have now is something I dreamed about having at one time, which is very true. You know, I have a wife, I have a son, I have the kind of job that I like. I mean, it's just fantastic when I think about that. And no, my job isn't YouTube. I have a different job. Not even really looking at YouTube as being a job at all yet. If it ever happened, interesting. But right now, YouTube is purely for fun. And that's okay. Beautiful day out today. I was supposed to go yesterday, but the weather has just been so crazy. It's like raining very hard and really cold yesterday. And so I biked at home, which was kind of nice too. But I really miss it when I can't just go out and enjoy biking. I really, really miss it when that happens. So today, beautiful weather. I'm in a very shady spot. So this thing, although a little annoying to keep roughing into those plants, I'm probably going to rip my pants. I hope not, but so I'm just interested to how does this road work? You know, I mean, this has got to be the right way. It's the only road there is. And there's all these temptations, like to get down to the trail right there. But no, today I'm going to try to follow this road. You know, and hopefully there's not much traffic, you know, when you get further into it. Could be mistaken. This could be a real big mistake. But we'll see. This bridge here is another way to go. I've gone this many times. That's interesting. I'm sure we'll see more of it, but these beautiful white fluffy flowers have appeared. And sometimes these red fluffy flowers have appeared. Fascinating. It's like every season is a little bit different. Now, I could probably go here because I can go with a light, but people are trying to turn right, so it looks a little dangerous. Safety first. Whoa. I have a green light, but he didn't want to let me go at all. Oh well. Just got to be courteous and help each other the best we can. So, in the last couple of videos, I've been really struggling what to do with, the biking channel. And what I decided is, I'm just going to go with whatever is fun at the moment. If somebody watching wants me to do a video on something or ask me a question, wonderful, I'll answer it and we'll enjoy. But if not, I'm just going to enjoy the rides. I'm probably going to incorporate some very short reviews. I might start to incorporate, videos of me and my face riding too, which is quite interesting. Yeah, this path is getting rougher and rougher and rougher. But there's also getting to be less traffic. I don't think this is really a bike path. Yeah, like last time I ended way before this. I think I ended up getting on the bike path before all this. So it's interesting. How far can I actually go? This is not very well maintained, or not maintained at all. But then again, there's nothing dangerous on it, Nobody throws bottles here or whatever. Little bits and pieces of trash, but very little. The road looks kind of dangerous, But again, I have this feeling it's just going to thin out the further I go, getting less and less traffic. But also the traffic is very aggressive. I don't think they're going to expect a bike here at all. So, although the path is, bumpy and not that great and full of stuff, I really like it. It feels like I'm in the country. And it's that little bit of technical, which I enjoy. Not much room for the bike, but enough room. Again, it's not hurting anything. And I'm very well protected from the traffic, which is, very nice. I'd rather be here dealing with these light posts than I would be in traffic. When I did this before, going the other way, it really opens up to a really nice country road. Actually, I think I've been to this spot. I remember that. I don't remember how or why, but I think I've been to that. That toilet looked very familiar to me. Maybe I'm mistaken. Sometimes they look alike. So some of the things I'm thinking about doing in the future, and again, I just want to enjoy the ride. I'd appreciate if people watch. It'd be fun if people could watch. But at the same time, I took a few months off. I didn't really post very much. Not sure what to do. So, the algorithm needs to pick me up again. Whatever. So, you know, I do want to do more reviews. Like I want to review, you know, pretty much everything on my bike, you know, my bike stand here. All kinds of ways to go down. I just remembered why I've been on that trail. Because right down there, the trail was closed for a while. There was this big sign, and it looks like it was going to close for many months. And so I had to come up from the trail right there, and that's why I went by that toilet area, because I have been here. I just forgot it all connected this way, which is the fun of exploring, you know? But now we're back. Different view from up here, not much of a view yet. But it's kind of nice to be protected by the trees. And again, very technical, this little dip here. Who knows what's in the trail? You got to be careful. I mean, I've been on this kind of trail, and suddenly there's like an electric bike right exactly in the trail. So that's, you know, not great. Ah, interesting. So now the road, you know, takes a right here. And so the up there goes up to this bridge, which I didn't know that connected that way. That's interesting. Very cool. But the road goes here, and I think this is where it splits off. Very fascinating. And I think I remember this from the trail. What's this road here? Now I know. I don't think I've ever been on this section before.
You have exceeded the preset speed limit. Please slow down.
Okay, I need to take off that preset speed limit. I don't even know what that is. You take off that preset speed limit. All right, stop right here. Let's see what that was. Interesting. Okay. For some reason I had all this set, and I don't know why. That's interesting. Over there, there's some bikes on the top of that roof. I don't know why. This over here is interesting because this is like a major stopping point. Fascinating. Yeah, that's a major stopping point. And this thing here, not even sure what it's doing actually. Like I said, that's just a stopping place. And I've been here before. I think I was going the other way. In fact, I know I was going the other way. So it's fascinating to go this way. And you see what happened there? Now we're still by the river. This is the right road, and this is how it connected. Now we're into a nice country road and no traffic. So hopefully it's going to continue that way. So the direction of, this biking channel, again, I'd love it if you joined us, but mainly, I'm just going to enjoy the rides. And I want to learn more about biking. So I want to have some episodes where, I just enjoy biking. I want to increase my enjoyment. I was watching one of the guys on YouTube, this older guy who's trekked all over the world, just awesome at his age. Fantastic. And, he says that he doesn't really like biking, but he chose biking as his transportation because of the pace. It's not too fast and it's not too slow. Like, he biked the Appalachian Trail, but that's too slow, and so hiking is very, very slow. And also, you arrive at a town on the Appalachian Trail and you're filthy dirty and smelly. You look completely wrecked and emaciated. So people don't even want to talk to you. Biking, it's a little bit better. Although it's not perfect, you are a little emaciated. You also, you're not quite so sweaty. You're not quite so sweaty. Oh, interesting center there of some kind. Looks interesting. Big difference. Car will go down that hill, no problem. I have to think about it. It's hard to get the bike up and down. But again, the same views from this side, but much different, in a way, because I get much better views of the river. When I did this before, I was on, this side, obviously, because you have to ride on the right-hand side of the road. Great views of the farms, but you don't see the trail and you don't see the river very well. So interesting. Again, I've watched guys bike this like crazy. It's been awesome. So I've always wondered, what's it like up top? And so you can see it's not, I really don't like roads too much, but there's very little traffic. It works. I can hear it coming a mile away. They're kind of respectful, so they do a pretty good job. One thing, you thought you wouldn't get any place to sit like down there, but you do. There's a nice place down there along the trail, but also right here there's a really nice place along the road. And so this would be a really comfortable place to come and hang out. Look at that, just beautiful. It looks just perfect. I remember going up and down this place many times. A lot less people on the road. And I like that. All these people are biking today. And it's a good way to use up, the days off. We didn't know what to do because it's a holiday here in Korea. Well, today isn't, but tomorrow and the next day are both holidays. And when I first moved to Korea, they hadn't caught on to having long holidays. So the holidays just were whenever they were. So it used to be something called Children's Day was 1 week. And then, what was the other one? Buddha's birthday, I think. I can't remember now. But yeah, you got them when they got there. So maybe this year, Children's Day comes on a Tuesday. And then next week, Buddha's birthday comes on a Thursday. So you have to work Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, or working, Thursday off, and then Friday. So someone came up with a bright idea, and it's something that Americans have done for years and years and years, is connected to a weekend. So now, these two holidays being so close to each other, they just tack them on to the end of a weekend. So, I mean, what a brilliant idea. Because now people can normally have a 4-day weekend. That's like almost a holiday. You know, it's almost a full holiday. And some people, they take the Friday off before that. They take 1 day. So they have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So 5 days off. Really good ideas. A lot of groups today. So again, we figured this out in America a long time ago. You know, move all holidays to Monday. So you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. Have a 3-day weekend. Brilliant. Because isn't that better than having Saturday, Sunday, work Monday, Tuesday, have Wednesday off, go back Thursday, Friday? Isn't it better to have them off in a row? I don't know. What do you guys think? Another nice little overlook here. Yeah, different views from up here. Very, very different. It's a nice place just to stand and enjoy the view. Very nice. This road is very nice for getting up a cadence. You know, going at a really good speed. I really like that. And it's a very beautiful road. If you get rid of all cars, it would be perfect. But I realize made for cars. Cars and bikes need to learn to work together. Like now, they're all very respectful. Don't bother me. A lot of bikes on this road. Very respectful. Very awesome. It's been really fun to see this bike path from up here. Because again, when I was on the other side, I don't see the bike path. But now, you know, I get an idea of what I went through. I think this run is going to go very quickly. This road is much quicker than the bike path, much quicker. I mean, I usually try to stay around 14, and on the bike path, it's hard to do that. You know, there's bikes and there's little dips and there's bridges. Really hard to keep up a really good pace, you know? But the bike path is also much safer, much nicer. So up here you got some cars to deal with, which is generally fine. But, you know, there's a lot less to deal with, just the occasional car. And it's meant for cars, so of course you can go faster. Like I'm going up a hill now, so I'm doing 19. Usually I do around 12 or 13 or 14. Yeah, and it's hard to keep that going. But you can see what a kind of a big hill this is. I have to work to keep it up. Anyway, anybody watches, please comment. How do you like this kind of commentary? I try to talk about biking. I try to talk about life in Korea. I'm really interested in photography. You know, I'm interested in travel. So, you know, I will take some trips with my bike, as I mentioned before. So I'm trying to think where to go. I could go into Seoul, because I don't live in Seoul. You know, it's kind of nice to bike by the Han River. That's a long trip for me, really a long trip. You know, Mokpo's nice, because very short trip, and it's right on the ocean. Yosu is interesting, but it's so spread out. You know, really hard to bike. So, you know, you'll look on a map and it says, oh yeah, this beach is very close. But then you find out the beach is, you know, 20 kilometers away. You know, and I don't even know if there's a way to get there. Is there a bike trail? What's it like? Another way to get down. Some interesting bridge all the way to the other side. Should probably try to take that sometime. I like this little village here. Look at this. It's a great place to sit right there for lunch. Really cool. I've gone this way around there. I think I have a video of that way. I've gone a little bit here, so it's interesting. This is interesting. They're building another bridge here, so I should get a picture of this. Maybe right here is a good place for a picture. Interesting. Nice little coffee area. Interesting new bridge. Not even sure what that's going to be. Very interesting. What is that? Because I came here, like I said, a week ago or so, and there was all kinds of construction vehicles right in the way, right there, because they're building this thing. Very interesting. So let me go a little closer, see if maybe I'll take another picture, maybe not. Fascinating. I think that's a footbridge or a bike bridge or something. I think it's for people. Hard to know. Looks like a nice little place here for coffee. Very pretty in this little tiny park area. Very nice. Quick look here, see what it is. It's hard to tell. It definitely looks like for people though. There's no way Huh, fascinating. Very cool though. Look at that, that crane's holding up a whole section of it. Amazing. Huh. Interesting. Nice view here of the river. Ah, very cool from up here. Yeah, that might be worth a picture. Fun and interesting. So this trip is really turning out into a success. I really like the views from up here and not too much traffic. They seem to be building a whole nother road right there. And none of this existed before. So I don't know what they're building, but very, very, very interesting. Oh, beautiful views of the river from up here. Very pretty. I mean, totally different. Down on the bike path, all the weeds get in the way. Still beautiful, I love it. But more of a blocked view. Still awesome though. Here I get a nice view of the farms and I get a nice view of the river. So going this way is better. I think from my other video, I remember this, how the road got bad like this for a while. And then after a while, it's got good again. So for a brief time, I think they'll you know, repave this too, eventually. Hi. Yeah, that's another reason too. Do you see how many people were blocking the path down there on the bike path? So it's really hard to get any cadence, and these guys are just flying. It's like younger brothers hanging on to older brothers to get speed. Kind of fun. I love these yellow flowers, very pretty. Slowing down up this hill. So let's just enjoy the ride for a while. Maybe music or just the sounds of the road. looks like. Sometimes it's nice to try this, where I'm using the camera on my phone, and I'm talking. So you get a feeling of me talking to you. but you also can see what I'm recording too. So it's kind of both. It's kind of neat. This part of the ride, you're starting to get tired. So part of me doesn't want to talk. But I like the zen of it all. You know, free. You know, not polluting the world. All on my own power. You know, it's a challenge. It's awesome. Probably slowly coming to the end. It's really windy. So I hope you can hear my voice and everything. But I'm in a quite, you know, open, windy place. Makes a great test though. This has been interesting. It's something to remember about this route. It has been uphill for I don't know how long. That's why I'm, you know, getting tired. I think the same is true for the bike path. You know, because going back is much easier than going. Very different views. So what do you think about when you ride? I have all kinds of thoughts. The nature of things, the beauty of things, you know, the horror of things. Why do things hurt? Why do things not hurt? You know, sometimes I just get lost in the music. I like his light. It is more safe. I have a light just like that in the back of my bike I could use if I wanted to. Neat, there's an airplane landing. That's pretty cool. I don't know if you can see it in this film, but there it is. No wonder why I'm tired. I'm going against the wind and uphill. And I'm coming near the end. Everything is against me finishing at the moment. This part of the ride is still fun, but a lot of it's just grind, you know? Just keep pedaling, just keep going. You know, after a while you'll get there. Before I couldn't tell whether that building's abandoned. That sure looks abandoned to me. Maybe I'm wrong. If I really think about it, I can put myself directly in the picture. You know, if I put my arms up like this, move a little bit, I'm right in the picture. But generally I forget about it. Keep thinking I'm going to stop soon. I can have a nice lunch, relax somewhere. Maybe I'll go to a different part of the park this time. Nothing says I have to eat in that one spot every time. I bet you that's going to be jam-packed today. So maybe I'll just go in the park somewhere. We'll see. So how do you guys like this view? You can sort of see me talking, probably a little headshot down below. Yep.
Let's go. 앞으로도 오후에는 좀 힘들 것 같아요. 네.
근데 오전에 대환사는 오전에 나가야 되잖아.
네.
근데 왜 그 대환사들이 오전에 긴장하냐?
제가 부족하다는 게 아니라 오후에 저희가 돌려받을 수 있는 아까 제가 설명 안 드렸어요.
오후에 어쩐다고요?
저희가 오후에 반납 받을 수 있는 근무자가 없어가지고 그러면 저희 5시까지는
Stop recording. Stop recording.